here are the things that all elders need to know in order to be able to build the clan successfully. We want all elders to be on the same page. Other clans have different policies. We're weird here perhaps, and that's just fine. It's cool for other people to have their policies. These are ours. Every single one of our elders here has to be trusted 100% to make the best decisions that they can. That's the way that you have consistent leadership in the clan. That's the way that you build and grow and attract more and more good, nice people to the group. But bear in mind here that being elder isn't about having power over other people or the clan members. It's about having a responsibility to them, being accountable to them, being a leader by serving them. And, power and responsibility go hand in hand, as Stan Lee would never tire of telling us, right? Now, if you don't want to do the work that's involved in being an elder here, that's totally fine. I don't blame you. It can be a major pain. And shoot, we all know that you can go on to Global and join one of a bajillion different clans that'll give you elder just for showing up, along with free bacon and goodness knows whatever else they can think of to try to entice you to join the clan. Why do people give away free elder? Well, number one, because they're desperate for members, and they figure that that's a good way to entice people to come. And number two, because they aren't certain that their elders won't just arbitrarily kick people out. You know that if you're elder, the only person that can kick you out is the leader. Yeah, okay, that's a nice defensive mechanism if and when it's necessary. But then elder doesn't really mean anything. Well, elder does mean something here. So here are the policies and procedures for carrying out the responsibilities of an elder. First elder responsibility, donations. Being a good donator yourself, obviously as an elder, you want to set a good example. So try not to let the donation ratio get too negative. Ideally, all elders will stay positive. Now, obviously, if you do the math, you know that not everyone in the clan can have a positive donation ratio, right? And if you're a smaller member, you probably do want it to be a little bit negative. The point is, however, that if you're taking one heck of a lot more troops than you receive, that's not fair to your clanmates, even as a member. And as an elder, it's even worse because it's an abuse of power. Also, as an elder, when you see someone who has a bad donation ratio, it's your responsibility to everyone else to say something to them. Say, hey man, give them a little nudge. You got 400 received and only 20 donated. Let's get on your horse here and start donating. You don't have to be mean to them. Just a little reminder, give people a couple chances. Talk to them a couple times. Hey man, I told you about donating. Let's go. Now, some people will just never start donating. If you do talk to them a couple times about it and they're still not doing it, then maybe it's time to have the conversation about whether they actually belong in the clan or not. But, of course, you don't just go kicking somebody because you said, hey, donate. And they said, okay, I will. And then 20 minutes later, they haven't donated. Give them a fair chance. And as you're doing all these things, the thing to remember about donations is it's far, far easier for a larger player to donate crazy troops than it is for a very small player to donate any troop at all. Because the larger player just pulls in so much more resources in raid bonuses just from the collectors alone, etc. The larger players should have positive ratios, hopefully. The smaller players should have negative ratios because that hopefully means that they're growing. If everyone is exactly as active, that's the way that it should work. So you don't need to come down on the smallest players in the clan. If they're donating a little bit, if they're active, if they're growing, that's their job. It's the larger players in the clan who, if they don't donate, are really being unfair by taking other people's troops. The second responsibility of an elder is to help and to teach. And that's basically going to be about advice on bases and advice on attacking and defense. So what you want to do there is pretty simple. It's in your interest, it's in everyone's interest really, to help each other grow and become a better player. So when somebody asks for base advice, give some. It doesn't have to be an hour-long speech breaking down every detail of their base, or if someone posts an attack or a defense, watch it. See if you've got anything to say. And once again, nobody's got all the time in the world to watch every attack and defense that comes down and offer this detail and that detail and do a complete analysis. But you can just make a little comment or even ask a simple question that will help them get better. Oh, I love the way that you protected your wizards so well because they were able to just tear it up, blah, blah, blah. Or, your mortar seems really close to the edge there. Have you ever thought about moving it more inside? You know, I've had good success going right after the air defenses before I deploy my healer to keep my healer alive. Yada yada. Do you see what I'm saying? Even just a little simple comment here and there, all that stuff adds up if several people are doing it. Now, of course, you're not going to be the expert on everything, and you don't want to sound like a know-it-all and be annoying either, right? So just be nice. Offer a helpful comment. It's as simple as that. And in the meantime, take a little time to think about what's involved in good base design, right? You know, like check out some of the plans on our site, or watch my videos, or go to Clash of Clans strategy sites, or whatever, you know, learn about the game. If you learn about the game and you think about the game, then you're going to be better equipped to help other people out understanding the cool stuff that you learned from reading somebody's guide to kicking serious COC butt, right? The third responsibility of an elder, recruitment. If you want to recruit, it's always great to have people out there looking for good new members, and you're usually going to have some turnover in a clan, no matter what. But here's the problem. How do you know who's going to be a good member? Well, you know, you can't really know that for sure, at least until they show up and are in the clan for a while. But there are a few things that you can look for that are going to help you find better players and give you a better shot at getting good people to join the clan. So first of all, we have to define what a good player is. What is a good member? Friendly and cool and active. That's one side of it. And the other part is someone who donates well, donates good troops. It's pretty much the primary responsibility of a clan member, right? To help each other out. Okay, so you want somebody who's fun to have around, who helps out, basically. Well, as far as the first part, the fun, nice, friendly, there's only so much that you can know from seeing somebody in Global. Obviously, if they're cursing and stuff in Global, then they're probably not going to work out here. But all you can really do is judge from what you see, what they say in Global. Do they seem nice? Do they seem cool? Probably so. Great. But really, whether or not they fit in and get along with everyone is going to depend on how they get along with everyone. Now, for the second part, however, someone who donates well and donates quote-unquote good troops, and even their activity level, there are clues that you can see without even having to have a conversation with them. The very first thing to look for is their level. Not their trophy level, not their league shield color. Don't pay any attention to whether they're silver, bronze, gold, crystal, master. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. What you want to look at is a player's level, their size. Why do we care about level? Because that tells you a whole heck of a lot of things about, well, specifically, how much work they've put into the account. How many upgrades, how many things they've done on COC is level. It directly tells you how much experience they have in the game. The more experienced, the better, right? Okay, they've got plenty of experience. But will they fit in? Well, if they're much smaller than the average level in the clan, their donations aren't going to be, quite as good as everyone else, right? And statistically, it brings down the quote-unquote average level of the clan. So what do? You figure out what the average level of the clan is. Not exactly. You don't have to sit there with a calculator every day or a pen and paper, figuring out what's today's average daily level so I can go recruit. But you should know about what the average is. And then you should be shooting for a little higher than that. That's a good account to get because the troops are going to be of a good level. And it's going to be relatively even. It's going to be somebody that fits in. Just like you don't want to, if your clan is all, level 65, you don't want to go recruiting somebody that's level 20 because they're very, very small and they're not going to be able to help a whole heck of a lot. But you also don't want to be just recruiting people that are level 123 or better because they're probably not going to stick around, right? Because you don't have the troops that they want to receive. Okay, so moving along. Let's say you found somebody. They seem like they're nice. You chatted them up in Global a little bit. Their level is perfect. It's just a little bit higher than our average. Everything's great. What do you do now? Well, you look at their base and you look at their profile. What are you looking for in their base? Signs of intelligence. If the base is just a mess and you got stuff strewn all over the map for no reason, or whatever, walls that are several different levels, and there are telltale signs that somebody either knows what they're doing or doesn't know what they're doing, right? If they've got a level 1 walls in a town hall level 9. You know, look for those kind of things. Usually, you know, it's a really good indicator if you see people that have more than 2 builder's huts. That either means that A, they put some money into gems in the game because they realize that builders are the most important thing in the game, which probably means they're smart. Or, not only were they smart for realizing that, but they saved up the gems that it took to get the 3rd builder or 4th builder or whatever. And that takes commitment. You know how slow you get gems. That's a really good sign. Then check out their profile. There's all kinds of good stuff that you can learn from the profile, but the most important stat or the thing to look at is the friend in need achievement. The more donations a person has compared to their level, the more you can be confident that they're going to donate once they show up. Now, it may be that they've never been in a clan before or something, but you know, once you're talking about somebody of a reasonable level, that friend in need stat tells you a whole heck of a lot about who they are. And remember, with all this stuff, there are millions of players out there. Take your time. Find good ones. Consider people carefully. You know, so what if they go join another clan? Their loss. You'll find somebody else. There's gajillions of people out there. The 4th and final elder responsibility, and perhaps the most complicated, are the elder powers themselves. Eldering and kicking. These are 2 very important abilities that should never be taken lightly. And using either of them should almost always be preceded by a discussion. Hopefully with the leader, but at least with another elder. Eldering should never happen without the leader present. That's the one power that a leader needs to have control over, right? If you make the wrong decision, somebody starts kicking, that really sucks. It's good that they put the cooldown safeguards on it, but nonetheless, if you elder the wrong person, overnight they could wipe out half the clan. You know, and then you're stuck having to elder everybody. It's just a mess. Don't do it without the leader there, is the point. Now, similarly, kicking someone, preferably discussed with the leader and some other elders and so on, you know, that you have a conversation about this, but there are exceptions to every rule, and with kicking, sometimes you just got to do what's necessary. You know, somebody shows up and they're a total jerk, start demanding the proverbial witches riding hog dragons, breathing acid balls, you know, make me elder now, sucker, and you know, then goes into F-bomb meltdowns or whatever. Okay, yeah, you gotta give them the old boot. No worries there. But let's say, for example, you're the only elder on. The clan is full, and somebody who looks like a perfect recruit shows up. Or maybe somebody that was visiting another clan that already is a member, maybe even an elder, shows up and wants in. What do? Clan's full, you gotta make room. Who do I kick? Well, then you gotta make some tough decisions. And that depends on how well you know the rest of these rules, and how well you know the other members. There might be somebody whose donation ratio is really, really bad, and that you've personally already talked to several times, and they're still not turning it around. Okay, clan was full, you gave them a chance, right? Here's what I gotta do. If you haven't talked to them, though, maybe somebody else already has, and they've already started to turn it around. If you don't know that, it's safer not to kick them. If you don't know what the situation is with the player, maybe it's safer to kick somebody that you do know and put in the kick message, hey, we were full and I had to let so-and-so in, and just come back, sorry about that. You got a better chance of getting that player back than maybe losing a good active member that you don't know so well that you're kicking because you don't know what else to do. Same thing with inactives. Do you know that that player is not playing anymore? Could it be that they're on vacation? Have you asked anybody about the inactives? Maybe they're still there for a reason. I mean, why didn't the leader kick that person, right? Take those things into account. If you got to make a decision, then make the decision and pull the trigger. But if you don't, it's usually better to hold off. Because a returning member is probably going to understand that, oh, well, the clan was full, I guess I'll have to try back later and they'll figure something out. And a new recruit, if they join somewhere else in the time that it takes you to get it sorted out, then that's their loss, and maybe they're too impatient anyway. So there you go, elder responsibilities in 4 less than completely simple categories. I know this is a lot to ask of people. I don't blame you if you don't want to do it, because it can really be a pain in the butt, you know? When all you want to do is just show up and give somebody the old beat down, you know, raid a couple times and get enough dark for this upgrade or, you know, whatever it is, and yet here you are answering the same question for the 5,000th time, or, helping people with base advice or doing that kind of stuff. Yep. Sometimes it's a pain in the behind. But you know what? In the long run, it's worth it. It's worth it because the clan will be better. And then it's more fun. And the more of you that do it, the more people in the clan start to realize how this stuff works and start working together. So grit your teeth and tell somebody to change their troop request for the 3rd time. And trust that your buddies are going to back you up on it. And if you've got a group of elders working together and delivering the same message, then rather than you telling that person to change their troop request 3 times in a row, you tell them, and then somebody else does, and then somebody else does. And that gets the culture of the clan to work together. That gets everyone on the same page. I don't blame you if you don't want to do it. But I certainly do appreciate and thank from the bottom of my heart anybody that takes the initiative to do that, put in that work and help out. Because that will get the clan kicking butt, and everybody will know that they did it together.